You know, there are these incredible invisible forces all around us, every single day. And there's one that's super mysterious, really powerful, and honestly kind of feels like magic. It can lift giant cars, help us find our way home, and it's probably holding up stuff on your refrigerator right now. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover all the secrets of this amazing force.
Okay, just look at this picture. It's a massive crane in a junkyard, and it's lifting this huge pile of metal. But wait a second, look closely. There are no hooks, no claws, no ropes, nothing. So how in the world is it doing that? What's the secret?
And believe it or not, that exact same secret power is probably working in your house right this very moment. You know those stickers that just cling to the fridge door? Or maybe a pin holder where the pins just seem to leap right into it? Yep, it's the same invisible force doing all the work.
Okay, are you ready for it? The secret is an absolutely amazing invisible force called magnetism. That's right, the power behind all these things is magnets. So let's dive in and figure out everything we can about them.
But where did we even find out about magnets in the first place? Well, for that, we have to go way, way back, thousands of years actually, to an old legend about a shepherd who got a pretty big surprise. So the story goes, there was this shepherd in ancient Greece named Magnus. One day, he's out walking with his sheep, and all of a sudden, the iron tip of his wooden walking stick gets stuck, like really stuck, to a big black rock on the ground. He had to yank it super hard to get it free. He'd never seen anything like it.
That crazy rock was what we call a natural magnet. People started calling it magnetite, maybe after Magnus the shepherd, or maybe after the place they found it, which was called Magnesia. This rock just naturally had the power to pull iron towards it.
Now, finding a natural magnet like magnetite is pretty cool, but most of the magnets we use today are actually man-made. We call them artificial magnets. And the great thing is, we can make them into all sorts of fun shapes and sizes, like bars, horseshoes, and even little round ones.
So what are these secret powers that all magnets have? Let's do a little investigation into their most important properties. These are definitely the things you're going to want to remember. Okay, our first mission, should we choose to accept it, is to figure out what magnets actually stick to. I mean, do they just grab onto everything, or are they a little picky? Let's find out.
And it turns out, magnets are super picky. They only attract certain things that we call magnetic materials. The big ones are iron, nickel, and cobalt. But if you try to stick a magnet to plastic, or wood, or glass, nothing happens. Those are non-magnetic. All right, mission number 2. We know magnets stick to things like iron, but is their power the same all over the magnet, or are some parts stronger than others? What do you think?
And check this out. Here's the proof. If you take a regular bar magnet and dip it into a pile of tiny little iron filings, look what happens. Almost all of them clump up right at the two ends. There's hardly any in the middle. This shows us exactly where the power is strongest.
These two powerful ends have a special name. We call them the magnetic poles. And here's a rule. Every single magnet, no matter how big or small or what shape it is, has two poles. We call one the North Pole and the other the South Pole.
And these poles follow one super important rule. You ready? Opposites attract. So a North Pole and a South Pole will always pull together. But like poles repel. If you try to push two North Poles together or two South Poles together, they'll push each other away. You can actually feel the invisible force. Now, this next property is probably the most useful superpower a magnet has. Seriously, this is a trick that literally changed the world and helped people explore the entire planet.
So here it is. If you take a bar magnet and hang it by a string so it can spin around freely, something incredible happens. No matter how you spin it, it will always, and I mean always, come to a stop pointing in the exact same direction, north and south. And that amazing little trick led directly to the invention of the compass. A compass is really just a small, lightweight magnet that's free to spin and point north. For hundreds and hundreds of years, this simple tool has helped travelers find their way across giant oceans and huge empty lands.
So we've learned about natural magnets and the ones we make in factories. But did you know that you can actually make your own magnet right at home from a normal piece of iron? It's way easier than you think. Let's see how it's done. Okay, here's the play-by-play. First, you need a piece of iron, like an iron bar or even a big nail. Then get a strong magnet. Now, take one of the poles of your magnet and stroke it along the iron, from one end all the way to the other. Here's the most important part. Always go in the same direction. When you get to the end, lift the magnet up and bring it back to the start. Do that about 30 or 40 times.
This picture shows that motion perfectly. Start at one end, stroke it to the other, lift up, and go back to the beginning. Don't just rub it back and forth. That won't work. That one-way motion is the secret sauce. It gets all the tiny magnetic bits inside the iron to line up, turning it into its own magnet.
All right, you've learned a ton about magnets. So now, let's get you ready for any test with a quick recap of the most important facts. This is your Magnet Master Exam.
First question, and this is a classic. Let's say you have a bar magnet with its north and south pole. What do you think happens if you break it right down the middle? Do you end up with one piece that's just a north pole and another that's just a south pole?
And the answer is nope. It's impossible to separate the poles. If you snap a magnet in half, you just get two brand new smaller magnets. And each of those little magnets will have its very own north and south pole. It's a rule of the universe.
And finally, how to take care of your magnets so they stay strong. There are 3 big no-nos. Don't drop them, don't hit them with a hammer, and don't heat them up. Any of those things can mess them up and make them weaker. Oh, and this is super important. Keep them far away from things like computers, phones, and credit cards, because that powerful magnetic force can actually erase the information stored on them.
All of this leaves us with one last gigantic question. We said a compass needle always points north, right? Well, the reason is because planet Earth itself is one giant magnet, which has to make you wonder, where are Earth's magnetic poles? Now that is something to think about.